guys he's playing against. So the only thing he could rely on early in his playing had to be smarts.
Yeah.
So...
And he got that moniker at 10.
At 10 years old.
And it stuck.
That's incredible. So that tells me at 10 years old, he was somebody who maybe felt like he had a disadvantage physically and had to make up for it in other areas.
Yeah, he was cerebral is the name that comes to mind. Steiny, the IQ, that's just what you said.
Yeah. 888-957-9570 is the number. Way to blunder the start of the interview, Steiny.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I said, welcome to the Bay, and he didn't respond, and then there was silence.
But that ain't on you.
I chuckled.
He didn't hear.
It's life.
Oh.
It's life. Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, geez.
Well, good dude, man. That everybody, that came through.
Yeah. Like I kind of wanted to go through some of the, like I was asking Evan, if I said describe Kyle Anderson's game, what would you say? And you know what he said? The first thing?
Give it to him.
Glue guy. And I thought that's interesting because usually when you say, tell me about a guy's game, the first, he can shoot. Oh, he can defend. He's kind of like what do you give me for a poor man Shane Battier?
I'm not mad at that.
I think Battier could score a little more, but that's all right.
Now, he'll take a three, Steiny. He'll try to ha-ha when you're the block. So, it's not like he is not, I can't put the ball in the hole. He can. We've seen it in Memphis, and we've seen it in Minnesota. So now it's like, just how does he find his way onto this team, his niche, per se. But Draymond now has help, if that's what you want to call him, if that's what we see from him, Steiny, another glue guy.
I mean, and now you realize just how important Wiggins is. Because you start to think,
man,
if we could put Curry out there with Kyle Anderson and Wiggins and Draymond, you got some length there defensively that you really haven't had in the past. But you got to have Wiggins buying in. And I'm not saying Kyle Anderson's going to play 30, 35 minutes a game, but, I mean, you can start to see this team. I think I'm in the minority, but I think you can start to see this team and what they're going to try to become. I really do, Goo.
Yeah. And I want to hear your basketball answer to this question from the YouTube chat from Estimated Eyes. I think he will have more of an impact on the game than CP3 did as a Warrior.
That's not a bad call.
Yeah. And that's no shade at CP3. I think for CP3, for us to maximize what he brings to the table, Steiny, he should have been starting. He didn't, and he still did his job, but I'm not mad at that. Like, I could see what Anderson does, jack of all trades, master of none, size, rebounding. Let's go.
All right, I'm going to put the rat on the table.
Brought to you by Atco.
And I would love to get into this discussion with Warrior fans and with you, because I get that people aren't super excited about the Warriors offseason. And the fact that they are where they are after they've won 4 rings. But, Goo, let me tell you what excites me about the Warriors.
Okay.
What excites me about the Warriors is this. They're going to, this next 12 months is an opportunity for me, individually, to be right about something in basketball. Period.
Man.
And here's what I mean. You lost Klay Thompson and Chris Paul, and you got these 3 guys in here, okay? I've always been a chemistry guy. I've always been a fit guy. I've always been a know-your-role guy, all that kind of stuff. I think the puzzle pieces are as important as just about anything. And I absolutely think this team can be better than last year. I absolutely do. And if people are out there and don't think that, I want to know why. And here's what I'm getting at. Because I'm such a chemistry guy, I look back at this. Who are the 2 guys they got rid of?
Paul and Klay.
Okay. What we're finding out about Klay is that the last 2 years have been brutal. Not the last year, not the last 3 months, the last 2 years.
On and off the court.
Exactly.
Okay.
Ever since Klay got back, he has been trying to prove to himself and the world that he's that he can get back to where he was. He's been battling some demons. He's been in a world kind of on his own. Chris Paul, I'm not talking attitude. I am not talking mindset. I'm not talking demeanor. Chris Paul just signed with the San Antonio Spurs. What was the number one reason he gave, Goo?
He wanted to play.
He wanted playing time.
No doubt about it.
He wanted to start again.
As well he should.
And so I'm thinking, okay, so they got rid of... No, was Chris Paul a problem? No, he wasn't a problem. Of course he wasn't a problem. But
I think I know what
he didn't want to be here.
Right.
He didn't want to be here, and he didn't want to come off the bench.
He didn't like his role.
He did the best he could because he's a professional, but he didn't want to be here.
You coaching?
Klay Thompson. He didn't want to be here. Certainly not at the end. He just didn't fit in. And that's why I think this team has a chance to be better. I just do. I think that Kyle Anderson could be a better fit, gives him more versatility defensively than Klay did. I mean, 888-957-9570 is the number. Go ahead. Am I off my rocker?
No,
or do you see what? Do you see what I'm getting at least?
I definitely see what you're getting at, and I'll just say this: everybody understood. I like it, but at the end of the day, for me, partner, on my list is: do any of the three guys, even with the departures of Klay and CP3, do any of the three guys right out the gate, and I could be proven wrong, and I hope I am, make the basketball game easier for Steph Curry? And right now, I don't see it on my radar, but still, that might not constitute it doesn't make the game easier for Wiggins or the game easier for Pods or Kuminga. So I'll be willing to see. But right now, man, I just really, watching that Steph play last night with all that abundance of help, I'm like, it's imperative that the game somehow, and Steph has some responsibility to that as well, but I know he's going to work out and be in the best of shape. But do those three guys, and losing Klay and Paul, can they make the game easier for Steph? That, to me, equates if this team can be better.
Yeah.
And I like all three guys, Steiny.
Yeah. 888-957-9570 is the number. Well, let me think about that real quick. What can each of those three guys do for Steph Curry? All right, first guy is Buddy Hield. And I don't know what order they're going to play. I mean, clearly Buddy Hield will help spacing.
Okay, yep.
And spacing the floor. Like, that's the one thing he can do. He has to be guarded.
And he's going to have an opportunity galore.
And Kyle Anderson. Well, let me tell you something about Kyle Anderson is the way he's going to help Steph Curry is because he's so fundamentally sound, and this ain't going to be sexy, but I guarantee he sets good screens. Yeah. He can pass in the half court. He's not going to turn the ball over. He's smart enough to know how to look for Steph Curry. And so I think he can help Steph because he's such a solid all-around player. Melton, that's a good question. I can't sit here and pretend that I know Melton's game inside and out.
But he scores more than Chris Paul when he's healthy.
Okay.
He can. Put it on the floor, shoot some threes. And I got to throw this to you. You mentioned Battier. Could Slow-Mo be a poor man's Iggy to this Warriors team?
Maybe. Yeah, that's not a bad call.
Like, I wouldn't rob it like that.
That's not a bad call.
Okay.
That's not a bad call. I think that's not a bad call. I mean, we could nitpick at what Iguodala might do better.
Right. Andre was smart, a little more athletic, but they don't have that. Would you just look at it from a Iguodala standpoint? So maybe he could fit in right there. I should have asked him, Evan, my bad, Steiny, how he looks how it feels going from Minnesota in the Western Conference Finals. Do you look at the Warriors as not making the playoffs? Was that a fluke to you? Or what was your math on the Warriors not making it? Because, Steiny, I really don't believe they're a natural 10th seed. And I know that means nothing right now, but if this is who they are, I can get a little excited about the Fitz thing with, hey, Draymond don't get suspended, yada, yada, yada. You add these two guys, and Chris Paul was, Steiny, he was special, but he didn't like his role, but he was a pro. Well, I wonder if that's worse than two dudes. You don't got to deal with that.
When I think back on Steiny, how'd Chris Paul do for the Warriors? Hey, how'd Chris Paul do that year he came to the Warriors and he came off the bench? He was pretty good.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
He didn't hurt you.
He was Chris Paul playing 24 minutes a game. Like he was good.
Opened up TJD, some would say.
But was he great? Well, he wasn't. Was he given the opportunity to be great? No, but he's 38. He's the guy that, to me, is really tricky. He really is.
But he impressed me more than I thought he could.
The only thing that he impressed me with was the professionalism.
Ooh.
Like
I thought he ran the second unit. I thought he got the ball to.
But we knew he was going to do that.
Oh,
like
okay.
that. Like he came as advertised.
Yeah, I was a little more skeptical than you.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, he came here and he did fine, but they didn't make the playoffs.
And you're preaching behind the scenes in the locker room. Maybe not the camaraderie is why they didn't make it. You think when you don't have to deal with that, maybe there's addition by subtraction.
Possibly.
But the Klay, we'll play this curse sound.
Yeah.
There's no doubt his job, he's relieved. That's a man that has a burden that he understood why it was there, but Steiny, he had to play into it.
I think the other thing going on here is once you knew that you were going to lose Klay and Chris Paul, and you knew you were going to be left with Steph and Draymond and four youngsters, this is another thing that's starting to hit me right now about Dunleavy. I think Dunleavy knew that the one thing, go for the home run.
Yeah.
Go for the home run. But I think what Dunleavy also knew is I've got to get pros in here to play with Steph and Draymond. Mm-hmm. And maybe that has a little something to do with Dunleavy knows that Steph and Dre at this point in their careers, don't want to play a lot with young guys.
Man.
They want to play with guys that they really respect. They don't want to have to mentor as much as maybe they're asked. And so I guarantee you Draymond Green and Steph are looking at these three guys going, oh, you got three pros. I mean, you got three guys who can play.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really no doubt about that. They get three guys